It was near midnight when three boys, Michael, Joseph, and Gabriel, cut across an old lane after sneaking out from a late study group. The valley held its usual hush, distant goats, wind along stone, a sky full of stars. Then, in a single, impossible instant, the darkness vanished as though someone had struck a match under the whole world. A white light poured down from above, bright as noon and soft as milk. The cobbles gleamed. The carved facades of cave houses stood out in sharp relief. For a few heartbeats, the night smelled different, like metal and rain. Street dogs that had dozed in doorways bolted upright, hackles raised. They yelped and scattered, running together in frightened, circling packs. Michael grabbed Gabriel's sleeve. Joseph fumbled for his phone, hands shaking. The light felt strange, but not mean, utterly wrong, an honest day where there should be stars. Neighbors appeared at thresholds, blinking into the sudden glare. An old shepherd stood in the light like a statue, counting the dogs as if marking an odd school roll call. As quickly as it had arrived, the brightness softened, thinned to a glow, then folded back into the night. The dogs slowed and returned, tongues lolling, uncertain if they'd chased a dream. The boys watched the stars reappear, hearts pounding. By morning, the town traded versions of the night like folded maps. Some swore the light had traced new lines on the rock, faint seams where water might find a path. Others said it had revealed a cracked terrace that, unchecked, would have collapsed come spring. That warning alone had saved a family. Whispers asked if the nun of light had gathered the valley into a single sharp pulse to wake people up. Sednan listened when the boys brought him their story. He smelled of tuff and wind and offered no tidy answer. Sometimes the place decides to be loud, he said. Abraham, called in for his methodical eye, suggested a natural geomagnetic flare might explain the glow, yet left space for mystery. Both urged care. Keep footage private, share only with those who would protect, not exploit. The boys grew quieter afterward. Their late-night bravado softened into responsibility. They helped patch loose stones, warned neighbors of unstable terraces, and stayed home with a wider respect for the valley's moods. The town changed bit by bit, small repairs, routed paths to spare fragile rock, a teacher using the event to teach stewardship. They did not post the brightest clip online. Cappadocia's people had learned that some moments were for mending, not showing. The boys kept the recording, shared it with a mason and a geologist, and sometimes watched it together in whispers, both afraid and grateful that the valley's sudden day had been a warning as well as a wonder. They kept the recording but did not show it to the whole world. Instead, Michael, Joseph, and Gabriel used it the way the valley had taught them to use sudden things, carefully, kindly, and for the town's good. The next morning, the boys wandered the lane again, this time with a purpose. They checked the places the light had brightened and found small, fixable problems. A loose step by a doorway, a gutter that funneled water where it shouldn't, a narrow path where people slipped after rain. With help from neighbors, they tied a loose stone, shifted a plank to make a safer step, and cleared leaves so water would run away from foundations. Each small fix made them feel braver than the flash of light ever had. The street dogs returned to their sunny spots, and for a few days followed the boys at a careful distance, as if they were little guardians. The animals were calmer when the boys whistled and offered soft words and a few pieces of bread. Joseph learned to move slowly around animals. Michael practiced steady, calm breathing so he wouldn't startle them. Gabriel, who had filmed the light, learned to hold his phone for evidence but to put it away when people were frightened. Sednan showed up on the ridge one evening and rapped an old knuckle on the stone beside them. "The valley hollers sometimes," he said in a voice like a pebble roll. "It hollers so people listen. You listened and did something." Abraham came by, sketchbook under his arm, and praised their patience. He taught them how to note the time and place and weather whenever something strange happened, and how to share these notes with those who could help, masons, teachers, elders, rather than with crowds that might trample the fragile places. At the school, the teacher used the boys' story to start a stewardship club. They learned a few practical things: how to mark unstable ground, when to call an adult, how to make a small sign asking visitors to tread lightly. The club painted a friendly mural by the lane showing a lamp turned into a heart to remind everyone. Bright things can be warnings and invitations both. At night, the boys would sometimes walk the path where the light had come down, looking up and listening to the valley breathe. They no longer felt only afraid or amazed. They felt useful. When a neighbor's roof tile slipped loose weeks later, the boys were among the first to help secure it until the mason could arrive. The town did not stop wondering about the light, but it learned to turn wonder into helpfulness. In the end, the strange noon that visited the night became a story the children told their younger cousins, not as a tale of fright, but as an example: when the world suddenly shines, notice, be kind, and fix what you can.